Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Oh boy, the collective left is in total panic mode. I mean, sheer panic. Like I've been saying the last couple of days, the left only acts like this when they're losing power. It's the worst possible thing in the collective leftist mind. The idea of losing control, losing power, losing authoritarian rule, and the ability to control what people do and say. That's when the leftist machine starts to overheat and unwind, and we start to get these kinds of moments. And you know, there's always little clues. You can tell when the left is in sheer panic mode, losing power. They tend to say the same things over and over again. Some of you guys probably know exactly where I'm headed with this. What does the left do when they start to lose power? I'll give you guys a couple seconds here as I continue to stall so you can make your guess. What does the left and the corporate media always say when their back's against the wall and when they're losing power or losing control of the narrative? Well, I'm sure a lot of you guys got it right and said it out loud or are thinking it. This is a threat to our democracy.
This is extremely dangerous 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 to our democracy.
And here we go again, folks. Elon Musk buys Twitter. The left loses control. They're losing power already. You can tell they're losing power of the trending tab. Right-wingers are coming back to the platform. It's an even playing field. And immediately, on cue, a threat to our democracy. Let me show you guys exactly what's going on as the mainstream media is melting down. And then, of course, let's just debunk the garbage talking points like we always do. We've got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so take a look at this clip that's going viral. MSNBC is livid that people on Twitter are allowed to question the mainstream media narrative.
The idea that the world is secretly run by this new world order, and it is trying to censor you. It's trying to prevent the world from seeing what's really going on, and that Nancy Pelosi and people like that, those people in the QAnon spaces right now, those people are at the top of that sphere. They are at the top of that pecking order when it comes to how people believe in conspiracy theories. And I do want to stress this. Right now, trending on Twitter is the lie about this guy. It's the lie that...
It's trending.
It's trending on Twitter as we speak. Because Elon Musk pushed it on Saturday. Or yesterday, sorry. I just want to make it clear how they got to this place. So, first of all, lies on the internet move faster than the truth. And that's in part why there are all these safeguards that Elon Musk is trying to take down on Twitter right now. The lies that were pushed were from bad pieces of information they found. For example, they said that Paul Pelosi was in his underwear. Of course he was, 2:30 in the morning at the time he was attacked. That led them to believe this was a lover's quarrel between two different people that knew each other. The reason they believed they knew each other is because the police put out a statement saying that they didn't really know who opened the door, so that led them to believe there was a third person in the house. So from there was this world building on the pro-Trump internet. What could be the opposite of reality here? And the opposite of reality they came up with was these two people were having a lover's quarrel in a house, and the police sort of intruded on us. It's fundamentally incorrect. It was pushed by the richest man in the world. And then yesterday, it was pushed by Donald Trump Jr., who posted a picture of underwear and a hammer and said it's a Halloween costume for Paul Pelosi. If we don't cut this out right now, not just the normalization of violence, but the idea that reality can't even exist anymore because it cannot catch up to the lies on the internet. I'm not a scholar on authoritarian history, but I've read Hannah Arendt. I've read all of these people. This is how it gets really bad. This is the start of something that gets really, really bad. If you are getting the guardrails off the truth, where it literally cannot catch up to the lies on the internet because of how the pipes work, how the system works, because of the incentives of the richest people in the world, then that's how you lose your democracy.
How dare Elon Musk question the approved narrative? God, these people are just insufferable. They're losing their minds as they realize they can't just ban people who question their narratives anymore. And they're playing the same game that they always do. It's a national security threat. It's a threat to our democracy. No, it's not. It's just a challenge to your narrative. I mean, they don't seem to realize that there's literally no difference. You know, these corporate media talking heads are doing a whole lot of assumptions spreading a whole lot of fake news and conspiracy surrounding this whole Paul Pelosi situation, but they don't seem too concerned about that fake news or those bogus narratives. But some of the narratives on the opposing side, which, who knows, could be wrong, could be bogus, a lot of it's speculation, those narratives are a threat to our democracy. Get out of here with your sanctimonious crap, please. Nobody is buying it anymore. Then they always do the same thing over and over again. I read a book once, and now I know the telltale signs of a road leading down to fascism. And apparently, according to this dimwit, the biggest sign that you're losing your democracy and that your society is on a straight trajectory straight to fascism is free speech and the open discussion of ideas and opposing beliefs and theories. Yeah, I don't know what books you read, Mr. Highly Educated Media Man, but I think you may be full of it. Oh, the real threat to fascism. Oh, in societies where people are able to speak and speak out against media narratives and government narratives, those are the societies that barrel straight towards fascism. Said literally nobody with 2 working brain cells ever. Every society that has moved towards fascism has had one thing in common: fake news journalists who peddle propaganda for the powers that be. In other words, you are the face of fascism. You and all you deep state media hacks who essentially act like the American Pravda, the arbiters of truth, propaganda peddlers. But you know, maybe I'm not giving this guy enough credit. He may not be an expert in fascism, but he certainly is an expert in fake news and how fast it travels. You fake news media hacks know a thing or two about how fast fake news travels and how the correction to said fake news generally can't travel fast enough to catch up. These media talking heads are the #1 peddlers of fake news and bogus narratives.
Trump, or someone in his administration, appears to have actually tampered with the records.
These White House records are not just incomplete. The gap suggests staggering and potentially willful omissions.
7 hours makes the 18 minutes of erased Oval Office tapes around Watergate look like a game of patty cake.
Donald Trump, a man who makes Richard Nixon look like a Boy Scout.
Donald Trump makes Nixon look like a piker.
Kyle Rittenhouse crossed state lines, and then usually you hear with an illegal gun, which turned out not to be true.
We need to punish people that think that they can cross state lines, have an AR-15, and shoot people. That is the bottom line for me.
Rittenhouse crossed state lines into a community that was not his.
There's no evidence that Hunter Biden has done anything wrong.
There is no evidence of any wrongdoing between by Joe Biden, or by Hunter Biden.
There's no evidence that Joe Biden actually did anything wrong. There is nothing wrong that Vice President Biden did.
Images that make you think of how enslaved people were treated.
Border agents using some kind of whips around migrants at the border.
You know, there are all kinds of conspiracy theories about how he was entrapped.
The FBI agents didn't do anything wrong here. So I think that's important because there are a lot of sort of conspiracy theories.
Do they send these around with fax machines? They come up with these conspiracy theories and they send them around on fax machines.
They should just knock it off and realize that their ridiculous conspiracy theories are going to be knocked down.
Stop with the conspiracy theory.
We know that with the FISA application, the relevant parts of Christopher Steele's dossier were corroborated.
Say that if the application included information from the dossier, it would only be after the FBI had, in fact, corroborated information through its own investigation.
Clear investigators have corroborated part of the dossier.
The dossier has been corroborated by the intelligence community.
U.S. investigators have corroborated some of the allegations in that dossier, although
we do know that parts of it have been corroborated.
We are not fake news. We are real news.
Much of the dossier has been corroborated. Some rioters were planning to murder lawmakers.
What does Putin have on Trump? Has Trump been compromised?
That Kavanaugh aided and abetted in the commission of a gang.
We are not fake news. We are real news.
These are the people lecturing us about how fake news travels real fast thanks to the internet and how it's a threat to American democracy, and how the idea that people can speak openly and counter narratives, how that's a threat to American democracy. No, if anything, that's the damn antidote. That's the cure. People's ability to speak ideas, whether true or false, to speak those ideas openly and then to have people in an open discussion research and counter with facts or counter with more relevant data and information. That's how you get to the truth, to the bottom of things. That's how you combat misinformation. That's That's how you combat government-approved propaganda peddlers like you. And again, that's the cure to fascism. Fascism only comes in one form. Fascism comes through consolidated power. When the government is too powerful, when monopolies start to form, and especially monopolies who control the flow of information and ideas, that's when you get fascism, each and every single time. The idea that decentralizing power is the road to fascism is completely, utterly ridiculous. It just goes to show how far the emotional manipulation really goes. The one common denominator is always power. They use all of these buzzwords: fascism, racism, extremism, domestic terrorism, a threat to our democracy. I mean, on and on and on. They use all of these buzzwords, which are clearly emotionally targeted to make you feel scared, to fearmonger into giving them more power. The end goal is always power. And it's obvious just because the logic is so shoddy. Oh, I read a book on Hitler supporters once in 1940s Germany. Trust me when I tell you, those MAGA supporters, oh, they're Hitler supporters. Oh, I read a book on small government conservatives advocating for limited government and more individual freedoms. Oh, trust me when I tell you, I read a book on that once. That's the ideology that leads to big government fascism. Get out of here with your nonsense. Again, it's just the continuation of far-left corporate media authoritarians losing their minds at the idea that they're losing a little bit of power. They just can't handle it. They can't handle losing power, and they immediately deploy the same disingenuous tactics every time their grasp on power is threatened, just like they constantly do with Donald Trump, attacking him, slandering him, attempting to destroy him because he clearly stands in their way. That's what I got for you guys though. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel. I'm gonna get out of here though. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.